is Max. He's actually deaf. He unfortunately was rat poisoned and he managed to survive that whole situation. But as an outcome, he's quite deaf. Which is okay, he lives in his own little nice world. Ain't you, Max? So here I am at my parents' house in the garage. A lot of stuff's happened in this garage in my past. A lot of ideas, a lot of projects. I learned to ride a bike in this garage. It's changed quite a bit since I was young, but you know, still the garage. Lots of making of the sauce, of the pasta, of the vino. All that happened in this garage when I was young. So I learned a lot of different skills in this garage. Pulled apart cars with Dad, built engines, built gearboxes, all that kind of stuff. But I guess what I'm doing here today is we're just chilling with Dad. You know, he's recovering after his accident, and that's been tough for him, also tough for us, but that's okay. He's a hard bastard and he's getting through it. And I'm personally in a really sort of funny space. I can feel what I call a growth bubble coming to a point where it bursts. And what I consider a growth bubble is, you start at one point, you slowly grow, and then you get to a point where it's time to burst. You burst through that barrier, and then you're at a sort of different level of growth. And that's how I see it personally. And these barriers that you come up against, they create tension, they create inner turmoil, they create a whole bunch of awkward feelings that people tend to shy away from, but it's important to dive into those, because the more you dive into those awkward feelings, the more interesting stuff you tend to find in there. So, and that's the actual feeling that you need to pursue to get through that growth sphere. So personally, I can feel one of those growth spheres coming on, and I know what that feels like because my mind's searching for answers. I'm searching for a way to evolve personally, and I can't find that. Like my mind can't find that solution, and that basically means one or two things: that I just have to let it go, and in that process of letting go, what tends to happen is the issue or the problem or the sphere of growth that you're going through tends to move more into the subconscious, and there you tend to solve problems a lot different than you do when you keep it in the front of your mind. In the front of your mind, it's a lot more logical. You're trying to think of direct solutions. How do I solve this? How do I do that? But with subconscious stuff, that kind of happens in the background, and all of a sudden you come up with this solution, or the idea comes. All of a sudden you're pouring out the solution onto a page, and that's because you let your higher self mull over it a bit more. That subconscious mind is a lot more potent than the conscious mind, and it has a lot more reserves, a lot more resources at its disposal. So letting it mull there is an important technique, actually, and sometimes that can be hard to do because you kind of always, I'm trying to solve this problem now, I'm trying to think of what that is. And for me, what that problem is, to give you an example, it's even hard to articulate because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going through. I know that in the building of this new brand that I'll tell you about soon, I'm thinking about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of action happening, but it's all planning. You know, planning a meeting with these guys about the design, working on the branding, working on the content marketing strategies, all these aspects that you're working on. So stuff happens quite progressively and slowly. But on the other side of things, as I get started with this channel I'm developing, and this process of putting down my ideas and my feelings of entrepreneurship, of personal development, I'm coming up against the natural blockages in that process, which are just doing something new. You know, this is a very different thing for me to do, to put a camera in my face and talk. It's different, and I hope, the only thing I can hope is by vocalizing my inner turmoil and my inner struggle, that it not only helps me, but it also gives you some insight and you something to grasp onto and something to associate with your own inner struggle. I really want to hear what you have to say. I really want to help. I love problem solving. Soon I'll be launching a conversation series with some great people in my life, and some new friends as well that I'll invite in. And that's all about conversations about this, about exploring the inner landscape and putting that onto camera and putting that out there for the discussion to happen. Because what I'm seeing now, or what I feel the next digital revolution is that we're going to move away from the glorification of the ego and of the movie star and of the star in general. And what people want to see, and what people have been wanting to see over the past 5, 3, 2, 1 years, is an increasing amount of the most honest and sincere content that you can possibly create. As more everyday creators come onto the content itself becomes not about the masses of it becomes not about the production quality. Quality always needs to be there, but it becomes more about the content and the honesty and the sincerity and the genuine connection between people. That's what we've lacked. That's what we can see now that is lacking in our digital content, is sincere connection. You know, everyone I meet, oh yeah, social media this, social media that, Facebook, yeah, you know, it was supposed to be a, you know, it's shit. It's I don't like it. It makes me feel disconnected and jealous, and it brings about that fakeness, that inauthenticity brings about really challenging feelings of self that we had to go through as a species. We had to go through these challenges of evolution, of mental and emotional evolution, to get to where we're going. And that's going to be an interesting place, because when you think about the evolution of humans, our hardware, our body, our biology has been evolving for hundreds of millions of years. And it's only really in the past 2,000 to 3,000 years, which relatively is a blink of an eye, that we have started properly developing our psychology and our consciousness. Now, when you look at the last 100 years of industrial development, and then really the only last 20 to 30 to 40 years of technology development, this is a very steep learning curve for our emotional and mental selves to deal with. And that's what we're going through now. We're going through a very rapid psychological, mental evolution of self, collectively, as a species. We're stripping back our collective egos as humans and trying to work out how to be more authentic and more connected with one another. And that's, at its core, what I want to do with this channel, is show you my most deepest authentic self, in the hope that you can open up and also be your most deepest authentic self with me. So be gentle on me, but here goes. This is what's going to happen, and we'll see where we go from there. Catch you tomorrow. Excellent. Yes? Yes? You excited?